It's Friday. Hey, 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 hey. It's Friday. We made it, y'all. It's Friday. It is Friday. And no matter how this week has gone, I want you to take a deep breath. We made it, okay? One more. We made it. It doesn't matter what happened. It doesn't matter what's going on. We have made it. And when I say it doesn't matter, what I mean is you can be in the moment and get this information today. We're going to talk about how you can repurpose the stress in your life. Hey, Kurt, good morning. So, a way to repurpose stress is important. The reason why I want to talk about this topic is because I'm sure that you know this, but stress is one of the leading causes of disease that lead to, or poor habits that lead to disease that leads to death. Okay. So we don't always correlate stress with um, cutting off life, but think about the ways that we eat, the sleep that we get, the way that we exercise, move, and take care of our body. Oftentimes, we are cutting corners or neglecting to do what's necessary because we're stressed. Why? I don't have enough time. I don't have enough energy. I can't even think straight. I don't know what I like anymore. And those things are those words, those sentiments are also often a reflection of the stress that we feel. I'm gonna be honest. There was a period of time this year where I was like, I'm stressed. I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to think about my eating, right? And my fupa shows it. You know what I'm saying? Like it shows. And I want to really put a pause on the negative stress, and I want us to think about how we can, because there's such thing as a good stress. It's a pressure that drives you to make good decisions. And so I want to think about, and I want to talk to you about repurposing stress, especially as a parent. So if you are a parent who has an elementary child, who has a school age child, who has a child who you want to be successful, raise your hand, say me. I'm gonna check my comments. Say me. I want my kid to be successful. I want my child to be successful. I want my children to be successful. I don't see any me's, so I'm wondering who's watching me. Me? Let me type it. Me. Let me type it over here. Me. Because I know I want my child and future children to be successful. There we go. I'll keep going. So I'm going to talk to you about 3 ways to repurpose the stress. Think about it a little bit differently. And we're going to dive into this. Mocha Tosis with Restoration Nutrition is diving into this during our Parent Plus Summit. If you haven't already, I believe registration is open till noon today. So you got a couple more hours to get in the room. Hey, good morning. Good morning. You have a couple more hours to get into the room. All right, we popping in. Hey, Key. Shakia, how you doing? Okay, so we have some time, right? If you haven't already registered for the Parent Plus Summit, go ahead and register. I have a friend who was like, I'm going to register. I'm not positive that I can make it, but I want to be registered just in case so that I can hop in and get the information. So tomorrow we're going to talk about health and wellness. Mocha with Restoration Nutrition is amazing at that. And I'm sure she's going to touch on how food, nutrition, and wellness impact stress and how stress can cause damage, disease, and we know damage and disease can lead to death. So it's a trail that we don't always correlate stress with death, but there are many stops along the way, and unless we find a way to, we can't always prevent or stop stress all the way. Hey, Natalie, what we can do is we can repurpose the stress. Okay, repurpose the stress. I'm gonna give you an example. I don't know if this analogy will hit, but if you've ever had bananas, right? And you let those bananas sit out just a little bit too long, they start to brown, they start to get mushy. And a lot of people don't like bananas because of the texture. But when I see those bananas, I don't say, oh man, I got to throw my bananas out. I'm wasting my money. What I do is I'm like, banana bread. That's the bet. Banana bread. Smoothie. You know, I have some bananas that were on their way to death. I chopped them suckers up, threw them in a little freezer Ziploc, and they're in the freezer for smoothies or for homemade ice cream. So we can repurpose some things where now what was going to be damaged or treacherous or just what's the word? Give me some words, y'all. How you feeling? Like no good, worthless, hopeless. I'm not saying that's how you're feeling, but sometimes in the moment, what feels like a failure could be repurposed as a lesson. All right. And the best banana bread is made with bananas that were on their way out. That's just my opinion. Anybody else agree? Have you made banana bread lately? The next time you look at bananas, you're going to think of me and say, let me repurpose these bananas. I don't have to throw them away. If your spouse is like, we wasted, nah, boo. I was letting them get here for such a time as this. I was letting them get here so that we could make banana bread. Okay, so we're going to repurpose the stress. This is a direct quote from the AARP website. I'm going to pause here. What do you think of when you think of AARP? AARP. AARP. Anybody? I'm waiting. Da na 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 da na na da na 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 na. Senior citizens. Thank you. You think of the elderly or older people. So, and oftentimes we think of, okay, as I get older, what happens? You know, years go by, but eventually there is no more life. So, excuse me, AARP said it's not surprising. Baby boomer generation, absolutely. It's not surprising that those with more wealth, okay, because I was like, does health lead to wealth really? I know we say it, but is health really wealth? It's not surprising that those with more wealth tend to live longer than those with less. Okay. And the title of this article was The Rich Are Outliving the Poor, essentially. So, health and wealth have a direct correlation, which means stress and repurposing my stress can lead me to success. This article said if you have more money, you probably have access to better health care as well as more nutritious foods. You also have less stress. Okay, they talked about stress. I didn't tell them to talk about stress. This article was published before today. From worrying about money, and stress is a factor in mortality as well. So when you are less stressed, this is what I'm gathering. You may have the ability to use and attain more wealth. I'm not going to get all the way into it, but you see where I'm going, right? When I'm healthy, I can make better decisions. When I'm wealthy, I have the money to access those decisions. I have the resource to access those things. But what I know for sure, the reason why I laid all that out is that parents of school-aged kids, school-aged students, school-aged children often struggle with school-related stress. I want you to think about, and you could just type a 1 in the chat if this is you. Yes, it's me. And a 2 in the chat if this is not you. You're like, Over the last 6 months, you have been stressed, like you have felt this in your body or however you feel stressed. You have been stressed by something related to your child's school experience. Type a 1 if that's you. Type a 2 if that's not you. I'm typing 1. I'm gonna participate because y'all participating and I want to participate as well. Absolutely related to school. In fact, like 6 months ago, it was a driver in the stress, and it drove me to repurpose the stress and make a good decision. Deciding where my child would go to preschool, what was happening at school, I had to make a decision. 1111. Come on. Come on, parents. We know this to be true. It's a stress that we feel in our body sometimes. It's a stress that we feel in our lower back. It's something related to school, whether it's grades, whether it's the relationship with your child's teacher, or whether it is, am I making the best choice in regards to my child's education? School related stress can also be helping your children cope with academic pressure or social challenges or extracurricular activities, looking into colleges, college acceptance, and all of the steps along that. Homeschooling a high schooler. Oh, Kia, you got to come to the summit. We have a faith based homeschool parent of 7. siete, 7 children, and her children's ages range from 2 to 15. So you will definitely want to connect with Andrea, Andrea. Look, I was gonna get it right, Andrea. Homeschooling can be stressful. Josiah was home all day Wednesday, because his school had half a day, but that's also the day that we have physical therapy in the morning. So I was going to be dropping him off to be at school for 2 hours. I said, you know what? We're just going to do this. But I had not prepared my schedule, which I teach others to do. And I'd be forgetting about the half days on the last Wednesday of the month. And so he was home all day. And then I had a 4-hour training where he also attended in the evening. Now they had childcare, but that could have been a stressful day. But I repurposed the stress. I was like, you know what? This is going to be a little bit more of an electronic day for you, a little bit more of a let's build some independence day for you. You're going to have lots more choices today. So I was able to repurpose it because there was no way that I was going to be able to maintain stress from 9 a.m. to literally 9 p.m. I had to repurpose it. So, also extracurricular activities. If you have your children in activities or sports or tutoring or things that they're doing outside of the normal or regular school day and school hours, that can be a source of stress for the parents and for the children. So I want you to type a yes in the chat if you think that your stress affects your family. Just type a yes for me. Does your stress affect your family? Or are they completely um, either oblivious or not affected? So just a yes, a no. Does your stress affect your family? For me, I know it absolutely does. And that is why I have to pause. Um, I have to make sure that I am intentionally parenting. We'll talk about that at the summit as well. Parenting with intention. Also, that my discipline is intentional and it's not based off of my cup is completely empty and now I'm just reacting and not responding. We know. All right, Kia. Yes, get in the room. Get in the room. So we know that stress can lead to things that start to happen within our body, sickness, illness, disease, poor functioning. I'm praying for you because that's gonna leave. Okay. Because that stress could be tied to, all right, when I'm stressed, I'm not getting enough sleep. When I'm stressed, I'm kind of operating um, at a very hot level all day. When I'm stressed, my body is not regulating. When I'm stressed, I'm not eating or I'm not eating well. And so we're going to talk about those things because my goal for the summit is that you come in the summit and that you get the tips, tools, and strategies to thrive. And we're hitting on special education, homeschooling, school parenting. So you're sending your child to school, but that don't mean you're not a parent. That don't mean you can't pull up. We're going to talk about making sure that you have what you need to parent with intention from early childhood into adulthood, that you have intentional discipline, and that you have nutrition, health, and wellness. We're covering everything. We're running the gamut of topics so that you can leave feeling full, my goal is that you feel like Superwoman, Superman when you leave. You're like, I'm absolutely a parent plus. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know people say take the cape off, but parents are superheroes. And I want you to leave feeling fully charged. I want you to have all your mojo. And I want you to know that it's okay to prioritize yourself. All right. Because when we're good, our children are good. And the stress related to school is absolutely not worth it. When I think about sitting at the kitchen table in the 4th grade and me and my mama going back and forth over some math homework, and both of us angry, frustrated, crying, and stressed. And now I think about my life now. It's like, were those moments of stress and potential punctures to the relationship, was it worth it? Was it worth it? It's like something we moved through, but the stressful part of it was not worth it. And so we want to think about 3 things, okay? Actually 4. I want you to consider this. And if you can, type these in the chat. If not, I'll type them as I speak. Number 1 is, what is your definition of success? So a lot of times we're stressed out because we feel like something is not working and we're failing, and it's fear-based, right? But if we can redefine success, we can see everything as an opportunity to grow, as a lesson, as a we're moving through this. So um, I have a student. Do I want to give you that example yet? I'll use myself as an example. Um, my son is still potty training, but he can speak in complete sentences. He can pick up a book that we've read 2 or 3 times. He can read the pages of it. He can have full blown conversations with adults, older children, children his age. But this potty training thing was stressing me out, right? Because I'm thinking developmentally, if he can do this, he should be able to do that. And there was like almost a month where I felt like I couldn't leave the house, and he's always going to be peeing on himself, and I'm such a horrible mom, and nobody else's kid. I mean, I just was isolated in my stress. And as I began to share in community, I began to figure out that this is absolutely developmentally appropriate or normal. This is what kids do. What modifications or adjustments can I make as the adult? Because I've had 30 plus more years on earth, and I had to redefine success. So success now is, mommy, I need to go use the bathroom. And we go and we celebrate. And so the definition is not you are 100% fully potty trained next Tuesday. That's not the definition of success. The definition of success is that there is progress and there is growth and there is understanding. So maybe you have an example of something that you're putting a lot of pressure on your child right now, and you are only thinking about next Tuesday. I want you to just expand. I want you to think about 40 Tuesdays from now. Let's just say a year, because that was a lot of math in my head. Think about a year from now, okay? Do you want this to be the thing that broke y'all? Do you want, I'm using my example, do you want potty training to be where your parenting came unraveled? Where your child was like, my mama was, you know, nice or kind, treated me with respect, did not raise her voice, didn't put her hands. Let's just think forward a little bit and let's take it beyond that. So, not just the next year, but in the next 10 years, what is the true definition of success? Where do you see your child? And so I know someone said homeschool. Oh, Kia. Okay, so homeschool for your high schooler. So you have an opportunity now to really create an environment in homeschool that is absolutely customized for your daughter. And the beauty of that is, as she heads into life or her career path, or into college, she will come to understand that my parents made decisions for my education based completely on what I needed. They weren't swayed by what others said. They weren't trying to just stick me in an environment where I did not thrive, but they made the best decisions. And so that will help impact how you homeschool. So maybe you're not, and this is just, maybe you're not homeschooling a solid, 4 to 6 hours every day. Maybe it's 2 hours every day and Wednesdays are off. Like whatever is working. And I know Andre is going to have some tips and some strategies for you there. But I want us to really pause and redefine success, because success is not, people say like this group of people are not a monolith. Like success is not the same for everyone. We like to think that it's objective, but there is a lot of subjectivity in success. So if you'll throw in the chat a word that describes success for you, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to do the same. And I wrote 2 different words. So on this Facebook and YouTube, you got the word confidence. Instagram, you got the word integrity. So for me, success is more about the character development. Who is my child in the inside? Because money will come and relationships will be built and they will thrive, they will last if the character is developed. A person or a child who is confident and has integrity is going to grow into a successful adult. I absolutely know, especially if they my child, if I'm the mama, right? If you're the parent, if we can establish the character development and redefine success, our children are absolutely going to be successful. No D's, no F's like she was getting in public school. Absolutely. So even translating to that to not having D's and not having F's means that you have at least a baseline understanding of the subject areas, which means that you have an A, B, or a C. Like we're not completely throwing away any subject. I need you exposed and to have a level of understanding, even if it's basic, even if it's proficient, right? And there are going to be some subject areas where there's mastery, and that helps point us to the areas where we can engage in your interests and your activities, maybe your potential college major or your career path. So the goal is what I'm deeming from this is academic focus, but it really is about that confidence and understanding content. Yes, Kia, Kia and I went to middle school together, or sorry, high school together. Girl, I'll be forgetting where I know people. All of my friends, we run together, especially being a military child. I'm like, did we go to middle school or were you in my fifth grade class? We rolled in high school together. So we don't like C's, but C's are on the path to an A or a B. C shows, okay, I have a basic understanding. A B is like, I'm proficient, I know my stuff. And an A should be an indicator that I have mastered this subject or this content. And so, Kia, I would love to work with you. I know Andrea would too, in building out your framework or using a framework for homeschool curriculum. Awesome. Okay, the second one is, so I said redefining success. The second is your pathways to success. And Kia, you already hit on it. The pathways to success can look differently. And to be quite honest, we always say this with the world we live in, but the world is always the world we live in, whether it was in the 1800s, 1600s, or in the future. So just with the world we live in, who I am, our family's values, and where my vision for our family is, I know that traditional schooling may not be the pathway for Josiah. It may not. He's still young. The world's still changing. I'm still investigating the educational landscape of the community that I live in. And I'm looking outside, like, what are the options? But for those of you who are really planted in your community or in your school, you may want to think about this second point. Are there different pathways to success? So maybe it's not a traditional school, or maybe it is a traditional school, but the pathway to success extends outside of school. So it's an activity, it's a sport or extracurricular. Maybe it's an arts. Sorry, y'all. For instance, I know that Josiah is a musician, absolutely musician and a leader. I would not be surprised if in middle school we're not like touring. I would not be surprised if we're not traveling and somebody is tutoring him, right? It could be me, right? I could be providing him with the schooling, or it could be someone that our family hires so that I can be a momager. But I already know that. So I'm already expanding what the pathway to success is. The goal is still the same, the vision is still the same, but the way to get there may be different. The way to get there may be different. Some families choose, after high school, you're going to take a gap year. The goal is still the same, but I need you to have a year to maybe rest, a year to explore, a year to get some basic skills or understanding down, some life skills down. I need to make sure that you are prepared for success. And it's okay if the path looks differently. And you all have probably seen the visual, the graphic where it's like you think the path to success is like this, like, right? But really it's like this. It's really like all over. Sorry, I got excited and started dancing. It's really all over. The pathway to success goes up and down and over and across and through. So we get to broaden our understanding along with the definition also to the pathway of success. Um, the third I want you to consider and think about is the range of success. What is the range of success? And we're going to talk about this at the Parent Summit, okay? Because we're going to be speaking about early childhood. We're going to be speaking about homeschooling. We're going to speak about nutrition and wellness, about discipline, about special education, about school parenting, about bullying, prevention and awareness. I left that out earlier. That's so important and key because that's social and emotional. So we're not just focused on academics, but there's a range of success. Maybe your child is successful with grades, but really struggles with social skills or with holding themselves accountable and managing their emotions, right? So academic, social, emotional, academic, social, emotional. Like we want to make sure that we're addressing the range of success, what success can look like, what it can feel like, and how it is experienced by you and your child. Again, all these things are to repurpose the stress. So if my child is so popular or so kind, but these grades are slipping, I want you to take the stress that you might feel about the grades and know that you can repurpose that into a plan of action. Okay, if the social skills are on par, how do I teach my child, or how do I partner with someone to teach them, or how do I access the resource to teach them to advocate? To teach them to advocate for themselves, to teach them to speak up for themselves, to teach them to ask the teacher questions, or to get extra practice, or to raise their hand in class and try out. And like there's so much that goes into the range of success. All right, I'm going to pause here. And are we tracking? Give me a me if you're still with me, if you're still rocking and you're still rolling. Okay, and then last but not least, we want to talk about unexpected success. And these are like the surprises where you're like, my child? Oh my goodness. My friend has a child in kindergarten, and who just started kindergarten, and mom's been a little bit emotional but excited about it. And yesterday I saw that she got a award at school, and my friend was like, why am I crying? Like, I'm so proud, why am I crying? And I think we need to leave space for our children to surprise us and not think that we know them entirely, right? We know them best, we absolutely do. But just like you have room to grow and to surprise people in your life, I believe that there are pockets and places of time where our children can surprise us. Like, you were listening, or I didn't know you were so amazing at this. And a lot of that comes around building the time to simply spend with our children, like quality time, one on one, device free, intentional time with our children. Because we know that parenting is a journey, right? And I really want all of the parents in our Parent Plus community to master the art of zooming in and zooming out. That means paying attention to the day to day, but also not losing sight, not losing heart in the vision of long term success. You want your children to build healthy relationships. You want them to be confident. You want them to understand purpose. You want them to make good decisions and choose a career path where they are fulfilled, where they have a sense of um, self worth and contribution to society. And a community is a great way to do that. So at the Parent Summit, I will be sharing more about my Parent Plus community, but I want you at the summit. If you can get at the summit, if you can't get at the summit, if you can't get to the summit, definitely get on a discovery call. My company offers virtual tutoring, and so you have support. You have the access to resources through tutors. You have community. You have events like this summit, and then you have all of the bonuses, all of the recordings, all of the resources and materials that I share. And so I want to be able to share more of that and offer that up. And just a little plug, I'll tell you more next month, but we have 10 new spots available for tutoring this upcoming quarter. And I'm also rolling out a special promotion for everyone who's on my email list. So if you're attending the summit or you have been on a discovery call, you will get first dibs, okay, at the new promotion. And I want you to be able to join. I help parents, busy, intentional parents, professional parents, entrepreneur parents, educator parents, homeschool parents. I help parents access the resources that their children need to be successful in school and in life. And I have a parent who said, you know what, my child is about to fail math. We have worked for 3 months. We started at the beginning of the summer. And that child is starting the school year. This is the first quarter with an A in math. Even the teacher is like, what have you been doing? I'm so impressed. So we were able to remediate his math, but also get him to an advanced level. So he went from having a C, D, and really not understanding the material to having an A at the start of the new year. We went from what a lot of folks like to say, we went from 0 to 100, literally. Okay. Another student needed to end the year strong. This was last semester or in the last school year, and wasn't passing math, but ended the year with a strong B. Okay. A strong B. And B usually ranges from 80 to 89%. That's proficiency. And that only took 8 weeks, right? That was in 2 months of tutoring and parent support. And one of my favorite stories is a student who was in jeopardy of retention. And I was able to work with the parent through coaching and also through him receiving tutoring to make sure that he passed to the next grade level with the systems, with the services, with the support in place to be successful. And the progress was very clear. So he wasn't retained. His mother, his family, his parents have the skills and have the confidence to advocate for him. And we found out that the school needed to honor a legal document. They needed to honor services that he needed to be provided. And so I share those 3 examples just to let you know that there is a way to repurpose the stress. Okay, I know it feels hard. I know it feels heavy and challenging at times, but you have resources. When you think about school and school support, I want you to think of me and our community. I want you to get plugged into the community and just keep us in your back pocket. Let us go along this journey with you, and do not feel like you are alone. Don't feel like you have to struggle, or that what it is today is what it will always be. There is always an opportunity and room for growth. I'm again going to read that. I'm going to read the quote from AARP, right? Because this is what they said. It's not surprising that those with more wealth tend to live longer than those with less. If you have more money, you probably have access to better health care as well as more nutritious foods. You also have less stress from worrying about money, and stress is a factor in mortality as well. So, if you're thinking, what does that have to do with me? I'm telling you now, your health is your wealth. Taking care of your mind, taking care of your body, taking care of your spirit is absolutely important. And when you are good, just like when you are stressed, when you are good, everyone else is good. I hope to see you at the Parent Plus Summit. If you're still watching, I hope to see you at the Parent Plus Summit. It's tomorrow from 12 to 2:30 Central Standard Time, and it's going to be amazing. If you know a parent and anything that I've been sharing, they need access to the information, go ahead and send them the link. Registration closes, I believe it closes today at noon. I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to work out. So go ahead and get in. Even if you get in, in the final hours, get in the room, get in the space, and I will see you then. Have a great one.